All right, am I on? I'm on, thanks. Thank all of you for coming. You know, I got to be honest, when I looked at the agenda today, I was seeing that I was opposite Jeff and the Hilton story and talking about experiences versus points. I'm like, wow, that sounds really interesting. I wish that I could hear Jeff talk. But I'm really excited to talk about points because that's a new thing for enterprise. We just relaunched the loyalty program in March of this year, so I kind of want to take you a little bit through history, and then we'll bring you up to present day. And as David so aptly talked about, we've done a lot of different qualitative, quantitative research to help us get there. Marcin has been a great partner. He's going to take over kind of midway through and talk to you about the system that we're using to make the loyalty program really hum. But first, before we get too far into it, I thought it might be beneficial. I don't know, how many of you rent cars? How many people rent from Enterprise? Pretty good. Anybody an Enterprise Plus member? No. Holy cow. Lots of opportunity.
I have some, actually, enrollment forms.
So I wanted to share a little bit with you just about the Enterprise story, give you a little bit of backdrop. Enterprise was established in 1957 by a man named Jack Taylor in the basement of a local Cadillac dealership in St. Louis, Missouri. He had one employee, he had 7 cars. Today, more than 55 years later, it's still privately owned by the Taylor family, but we have almost 70,000 employees. We operate over 1 million vehicles through 7,000 locations across the US, Canada, UK, Ireland, Germany, and beginning February 1st, France and Spain. Now, this crazy growth is really driven by a very simple philosophy that Jack coined when he started the business. It's up here on the screen. Take care of your customers and employees first, and the business will take care of itself. We were customer-centric before customer-centric was cool. And what we've done with that is we've created this culture of customer service that has really just blown the doors off the business, and we've transferred it into the loyalty program. So we'll start with Loyalty 1.0. And why I wanted to start there was because for years, people at Enterprise didn't really think we needed a loyalty program. We provided great service great customer experience, as David said, at the point of truth, at the moment of truth, and at the counter, right, when the transaction occurred. We were all about building relationships. We talked a lot about turning transactions into interactions, and we had a highly motivated workforce and all these things. And they said, you know what? We don't need a loyalty program. We already get all of our customers' business. In fact, our research would tell us that 80% of our existing customers are completely satisfied, and they would definitely consider us the next time they needed to rent a car. The other bit of research that we had was Enterprise renters are different. As a company that started in the neighborhoods and built a business around the insurance replacement business, these folks, the common belief was these folks weren't renting very often, right? So they were telling us that, you know what? I don't have any need for points. I'll never rent enough to amass and really use these points. So we took all that to heart and we said, you know what? We just feel like we need something. We need something else. We introduced on airports in 1995 and we said, we got to get that business going too. So we went out, we did a lot of qualitative research, as David referenced. We did a ton of focus groups. We talked to our customers and they said, you know what? It's true, I don't rent that often, but it would be nice if you could give me something that would help me get through the process a little bit quicker. It would be nice if you knew something about me when I walked up to that counter, you know, those happy smiling agents, if they knew a little bit about me, that would be nice. And if you could give me some special deals to go along with it, that would be great, and I'd be good, right? That's what I would need. So our first iteration of Enterprise Plus was actually built as a recognition program. We asked the customer for some information. We stored their profile information in our system. It pre-populated reservation and rental screens. We set up a separate check-in station at airports to make it work a little bit faster for them. And then we got them to enroll in an email extras program that offered them deeper discounts than those that were available to the general public. No Rewards launched in May of 2007. Program took off. It was really amazing, and it was a testament to our people at the counter who had the ability to enroll people at that transactional moment. 2010, numbers were off the charts. We had over 2 million active members already in the program. We started to see that these folks actually were renting quite a bit. In fact, what we saw was we had 5% of our annual customers doing 15% of our annual rentals days revenue. So clearly we had something going on there that caused us to kind of take another look and question our original conclusions. So then we started to take a little bit deeper dive into our data. This is when we really got into the quantitative portion of what we were doing, and we started taking a look at transactional data. First step that we took was we did what we thought of as a frequency distribution, right? A frequent renter analysis, excuse me. If we had 5% of people doing 15% of rentals, something was going on there that we didn't see before. So we dug into the data and just went deeper and deeper, and what we found was what you're seeing on the pyramid here. And if I can make this thing work, right? There we go. So when you look at 6+, that's actually quite a bit of volume in terms of dollars. And what we found was we had over 500,000 renters that were doing 6+. They were contributing $1 billion in annual revenue. And we said, holy smokes, we had no idea that that was going on. And that is actually worth something. The previous conclusions that we had drawn where people weren't renting that often, senior management was like, hey, if we're getting 1 to 2 rentals a year, I'm not giving those guys anything. Maybe I'll give them a can of Coke. Just can't afford it. So then we shared this data with them and we said, look, we actually have some significant frequent renters contributing a tremendous amount of revenue to us. We think it's time for a rewards program. We got their attention and they started to listen to us. The second bit of research that really opened our eyes was the share of wallet research. And what we had going on here was we had, as a company that had grown up in the local neighborhoods, or the home city market as we like to call it, as I mentioned earlier, we entered the airport business in 1995. We had a business objective of growing our share at the airport. And we thought that a loyalty program, a more robust loyalty program, might help us achieve that objective. So what we did is we did the share wallet study. We talked to thousands upon thousands of customers, survey, okay? And what we found, not surprisingly, was we did a great job of capturing the vast majority of their rentals in that home city market. But we were doing a terrible job of capturing their rentals at the airport. In fact, we had people that would rent with us in the home city and go elsewhere at the airport. We were losing 75% of our existing customer base's rentals at the airport. And we said, holy smokes, we gotta plug that hole, and we gotta plug it fast if we're ever gonna talk about growing the business. So those two insights led us to Loyalty 2.0. And what we did there, not revolutionary, you're all in the business, but it was revolutionary for us where we actually added a rewards component. We now give customers the opportunity to earn points for the dollars that they spend. We added membership tiers, we added some additional benefits based on frequency of rental, and then we launched into this engagement strategy where we, and I'll get into it in a little bit, but we did a really deep dive into behavioral stuff to get a communication stream going that's going to help us increase the engagement. All of this launched in March of this year, 2012. So we've been out 6-7 months now. Now, before I turn it over to Marcin, the other thing that I need to share with you is while we think we might be the best at renting cars, and we think that we're the best at customer service, building loyalty systems, designing loyalty software and banking systems, not exactly in our wheelhouse. So we had to go outside and look for a partner. Now, the other thing that I would tell you is, as a company that was basically self-made, we used to do all that stuff internally. So we've got 2,000 employees in the IT department. We built our own reservation system. We built our own website. We built what we call our automated rental management system, which helps us interface with body shops and insurance companies. We came to this, and our folks said, heck yeah, we can build that. And we said, no, this is a little bit different, okay? We had never done anything with loyalty before. So we went out, we talked to a bunch of potential partners, and we found our friend Marcin and Comarch. And I'm going to let him talk about the system.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not going to actually kill you with tons of information about our platform, but when it comes to this particular implementation, I'm glad that actually Jim just mentioned that they previously worked internally, because when we approach enterprise, we faced a situation that we had to actually somehow convince them to go to outside the company to a third-party company to let run the loyalty program. And even if, in our portfolio we have tons of products, and even, in the small area of loyalty and CRM, we have those different verticals which we were supporting. For enterprise, we decided, actually not we decided, but at the end, the whole design was around only operational part of the program. So what we did for enterprise, we built the engine, we built the points bank. We built on the top of that, of course, the customer profiles. We had to have a contact center actually to support the program in case of any issues, in case of any questions, and so on. Most important part for that was actually customer web portal, where you can go and be engaged online, not engaging your staff either in your location or over the phone, because it's expensive. So we worked together, and I'm glad that actually everything was in-house. In many customers, we have the situation where we need to deal with 5, 6 different companies to integrate and so on. So that work at least was easier from that standpoint, that Jim was able to go to the team and the IT team up there, which was actually significantly even bigger than our team. You have what, 1,000 plus?
Yeah,
2,000 IT specialists in their company, and in Comarch we have 3,500 people, but for loyalty department it works only 350 people. So it was a kind of like gorilla coming to little mouse and trying to force to do something. But it worked perfect for us. At the end, the whole process was very smooth. But it took us 7 months to build everything. It was still, a super achievement. And we have only operational part. I hope that actually at the end we'll also end up with more analytical part, and we have lots of area to manage when it comes to social media, when it comes to mobile. But I'm glad that we did that in those little steps, just because you first need to build the base. You first need to have something to work with, and then progress to something more. And so it is exactly what we did. And it's exactly everything what I wanted to tell you, because I'm pretty sure you want to hear some numbers from Jim. I was impressed when I first times have seen those numbers. I was impressed, and after those 7 months of operations, so it's the 7th month right now, yeah? They achieved so much. So Jim,
all right,
to you.
Thanks, Marcin.
Of course, I forgot to mention that if you want to hear more about our products, meet us in our booth.
Marcin's right outside, little commercial. So yeah, as Marcin said, how are we doing, right? So we did all this work, 7 months, as he mentioned. I've actually been working on this with my friend back here, Francesco, for about 2 years. It took us to kind of move this through our internal system. And 7 months into the program, senior management could not be happy. We have to kind of temper their enthusiasm. We're like, hey, it's early, but we're feeling really good. Enrollment is up 19%, active members are up 20%, rentals are up 21.5%, days are up 23%, revenue's up 22%. And again, this is just 7 months in. We took a little bit deeper look at it, and it's not isolated to one area. What we're seeing is, regardless of your frequency level, we've got more members renting more often in every band. So 1 to 5 is up 11, 6 to 11 is up 10%, 12 to 23 is up 11%, and 24 plus, the most valuable, are up 11%. And you remember earlier I was talking about the share of wallet study and how we needed to increase our business at airports. Well, this last stat here is talking about cross usage between the home city business and the airport business. That's also up 19%. So we're feeling really good about the program as we're off to a good start here. But obviously we have more work to do. What are we going to do to keep it going? So working with the LASIK group, we have a tremendous data-driven communications program in place. and it kicks off with lifecycle messaging. You all know about lifecycle messaging, but we have about 25 different messages that are now going out to customers based on what we see in terms of their rental behavior, what we know about them. So if you went from 5 rentals to 6 rentals, guess what? You went from base to silver, you're going to get an email from us. If you're renting for the first time, we're going to say, hey, thanks. Now we just saw you, you joined the program. Now you made your first rental with us. We appreciate it. Reward activation, if we haven't seen that you raised your hand and said, I want to earn points, we're going to say, you really should be earning points. And then ongoing rental recognition, just, hey, it looks like you're becoming a regular. So that's 4 examples. Like I said, there's 25 of them. And depending on which bucket you fall in, you'll get one, and you'll never get more than 1 a week. So we're managing it that way as well. The other thing that we're doing is a monthly e-statement. So we're going to tell customers on a regular basis, hey, here's how many points you got. Here's your summary of your recent rental activity. If you're not seeing something here, this is what we have. You need to go, you fill out a retro credit request, or you need to call us, or whatever the case may be. There's some stretch messaging built in down there. It says, hey, you're this many rentals away from the next tier. We'd love to see you come back. Arrival alerts. This is something we just launched within the last couple of weeks. If you are an Enterprise Plus member, opted in for emails, and you're renting in an airport, you're going to get one of these alerts 2 hours before you're scheduled to pick up the car. So all of us are in the habit. We're on the plane lands, we all turn on our phones. Boom, there's your message. It's just a message of reassurance saying, hey, we're waiting for you. We've got your car, and here's some directions to find the shuttle or the counter, whatever the case may be. Acquisition, frequent renter DM. Now this is one where when we did the frequent renter analysis, what we found was we had hundreds of thousands of customers who rented with us multiple times but weren't in the program yet. We went out to research, we talked to them, we're like, why aren't you guys in the program? They're like, why would I be in the program? You're not giving me anything. There's no point in me being in the program. So now that we've got some currency in it, we've got some rewards built into it, we've identified these folks and we've now sent direct mail to them, which is kind of old school, I realize, but the cool thing that we've done here is we've identified them based on their tier level. So if you're a base, silver, gold, what have you, you're going to get a message specific to you, inviting you to join at that tier level, say, hey, we recognize that you've rented this often with us. We're going to enroll you right away into the tier that you're supposed to be enrolled in. They've got a PIN code on that DM. They go to a landing page online. They drop that PIN code in. They're automatically enrolled, and they're on their way. We launched that 2 weeks ago, and I think we've already seen, Francesco, I think I saw something today, we got like 6,000 new members in the last week and a half. So it's early, but a 2% response rate we'll take at this point. We're building a refer a friend site. So another acquisition tool. Hey, let's get our best customers to recruit other customers like them, and we'll reward them for doing so. And then we also have a promotion coming up that we're calling Plus Your Points. Now again, the crux of the promotion is not anything crazy. It's double your points. I'm sure we've all seen those before, but what we're trying to do is add some new twists to it. So we've got a gamification element into it. Tony was just up here before the break talking about gamification. We've got an opportunity here where you can earn badges, you can do different things to earn bonus points, and we hope that people will strive for that. So whether you opt into email extras or you want to share your activity and your rewards with your social networks, we'll give you some points for that. Just kind of a little fun deal to kind of keep people interested, keep them engaged, keep it going. So that kind of brings me to the towards the end here. What have we learned? Know your customer, duh. I know that's hugely revelational for all of you, but what we learned really was, you got to get out there, you got to talk to them, and you got to talk to them all the time. And the other thing is knowing your data, because as David said in the introduction, you have to recognize that there's a difference between stated behavior and actual behavior. And we learned that lesson. It took us 3 years to learn it, but we did finally learn it. And that's the thing, from our perspective, that's the power of data, where we can actually see, hey, you told us this, but you're actually doing that. And that's very meaningful to us. So we can build a program around that. And then, obviously, from a communications perspective, keep it going. Choose your partners wisely. This is a marathon, not a sprint. When you're needing to go outside for something like this, obviously you want somebody that's got great experience. You want somebody that you know you can work with, and somebody that is going to be flexible and be able to integrate into your system. That was a huge deal for us. I can't tell you how nervous our IT people were when we said, hey, we're going to build this thing over here, and we're going to hook in through an XML feed, and all we're going to do is take all this transactional data, and we're going to zip it over here, and this is where the points are going to live, and customers are going to come in here, and whether it's enterprise.com or enterpriseplus.com, it's going to feel like it's the same, but some of it's going to be over at Comarch, and some of it's going to be here. People's heads were spinning. But Comarch has done a great job for us in terms of making our IT people feel comfortable. And then the last thing is never stop learning. I think what we talked about in terms of moving from the qualitative to the quantitative, getting into the data, we've learned that. In fact, we were just with our Director of Insights and Intelligence last week. We're planning our next round of research and the next round of big things to come from Enterprise Plus. Hopefully we'll be building on the points and getting more into the experiential part of loyalty programs and adding some service benefits and things like that. And that's all I have. So thank you very much.
Just in time.